Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Learn with GRV. So in today's video we are going to understand the Crown Rule, which was from 1858 to 1947, and we are doing this as part of understanding the polity book called as Indian Polity by M. Lakshmikant. Alright, so let's get started. So what was the first act in the Crown Rule? This act is called as Government of India Act of 1858. Now, why was this act enacted? So it was enacted in the wake of revolt of 1857, which is also known as the First War of Independence or Sepoy Mutiny. Second, this act is also called as the Act for Good Government of India, and I will tell you the reason at the end why it is called so. And third aspect is that this act abolished the East India Company and transferred the powers of government, territories and revenues to the British Crown. So now let us understand this in the form of a story. Now, as you know that in 1605, Britishers came to India to do trade in the form of a company which is called as East India Company. In 1765, they were given Diwani rights. So Diwani rights are basically rights over revenue and civil justice. Now, so the period of company rule exists from 1773 to 1858. And in 1773, we had the Regulating Act of 1773. Then we saw the Amendment Act. Then we saw the Pitt's India Act. And then we saw the Act of 1786. And then we saw the various Charter Acts. So after that, we had the Government of India Act of 1858. So this is how the story is till now. First, we had the company rule from 1773 to 1858. Now we have the Crown Rule from 1858 to 1947. And in 1947, India got independence. So now let us see what were the features of this Government of India Act of 1858. So the first feature was that India to be governed by and in the name of Her Majesty, which means that earlier India was being run by the East India Company, but this act abolished the East India Company and it said that it would now be governed by in the name of Her Majesty. That means the British Crown. The second point is that the Governor General of India was changed to Viceroy of India. Now, if you know that in the Regulating Act of 1773, we had the first Governor General of Bengal, that is Lord Warren Hastings. Then in the Charter Act of 1833, we had the first Governor General of India, that is Lord William Bentinck. And now the Act of 1858 made the first Viceroy of India. So the Governor General of India position was changed to Viceroy of India. And who was the first Viceroy? His name was Lord Canning. Okay, moving on. Viceroy was the direct representative of British Crown in India. And another feature of this act was that it ended the system of double government. So what is the system of double government? Now, if you remember, in Pitt's India Act, the East India Company's functions were divided into two parts. The first part was the Court of Directors, which are going to handle the commercial aspect. And the second part was Board of Control, which are going to handle the political aspects. So this act of 1858 actually abolished the system of double government. But which act brought the system of double government? Pitt's India Act of 1784. Alright, moving on to the other features. So this act also created a new office called as the Secretary of State for India, and which gave the office the complete authority and control over the Indian administration. So in order to have the complete authority of the Indian administration, they created a new office that is called as the Secretary of State for India. And the Secretary of State was a member of the British cabinet, and he was basically responsible ultimately to the British Parliament. Now, this act also established a 15-member council of India to assist the Secretary of State. And who was made the chairman of this council? The Secretary of State. Moving on, it also constituted Secretary of State in Council as a corporate body, which meant that it was capable of suing and being sued in India as well as in England. Okay, all right. So these were the features of the Government of India Act of 1858. Now I had told you one thing, that I'll tell you why this act was called as the Act of Good Government of India. Reason being because this act was primarily focused on the administrative aspects of running the country. It did not talk about how did the government actually works, and that is why this act is also called as the Act of Good Government of India. This is called as the Act for the Good Government of India. So let us look at the features once again quickly. The first feature was India to be governed by and in the name of Her Majesty, that means the British Crown. The Governor General of India was changed to the Viceroy of India. Lord Canning was made the first Viceroy of India. Viceroy was the direct representative of British Crown in India. This act also ended the system of double government by abolishing the Board of Control and Court of Directors. And which act brought the system of double government? Pitt's India Act of 1784. Coming to more features, this act created a new office called as the Secretary of State for India, which gave it the complete authority and control over the Indian administration. The Secretary of State was a member of British Parliament and was ultimately responsible to the British Parliament. This act also created a 15-member council which was going to help the Secretary of State, and the chairman of the council was the Secretary of State for India. Also, this act created a Secretary of State in Council as a corporate body. That means it could be sued and it can sue in India and England. So these were the features of Government of India Act of 1858. In the next video when we will meet, we will talk about the Indian Councils Act of 1861. So this is Gaurav Singh signing off. Thank you for watching.